Alright, so you should have your banner in, your title in, and all your buttons. Somebody had just asked me why I had this window open right here. This is my window with all the files. I have that open, that way I can always keep an eye on what I'm going to use next. It helps me, even though I have a storyboard, it helps me to remember what pictures I have there. When you're doing your storyboard, it's a good idea, if you already have your pictures saved, to put in what picture you're using. I did not do that, and I kind of wish that I had. I will for the next one, because these have strange names. So this one should have been Teeny Headshot, and maybe Teeny Flowers, and maybe, something else. It would have made my life a little easier. For the next one, we will definitely do it that way. It's not too late for you to do it now, because you're just starting. Okay, so here, we're going to leave a space for the heading for your other pages, because remember, we're making a template. And we're going to go ahead and, you know what, before we get any further, I just undid that. Let's save this. So we're going to go File, Save As, and let's call this template. Just so that we can continue to work on it, but we don't have to worry about all of our hard work getting lost, because we're going to be able to use this same page for other stuff. So find your folder and save it. Now, there's a trick that you can do if you know how you're going to save your pages right off the bat. You can link all of your buttons on your template page to your other pages before they're even built. It's easier to do it once the pages are built, but if you know for sure what you're going to name your pages, you can do it now and save yourself a whole lot of work. You remember on the storyboard how I told you to put what the file name would be? This is because you really want to know in advance what your pages are named. That way you can do this trick to save yourself so many steps and so much trouble later. So we know that your home page should always be called Index. So right here, I clicked on the button. I'm going to go down in my little properties bar to where it says link, and I'm going to type in index.html. Don't spell it wrong or it won't work. My next page, I know that I'm going to call it Family. The page is going to be called Family. So I'm going to type in family.html. Why HTML? Because HTML indicates that it's a web page. That's a web document. All web documents end with HTML. So I'm going to do the same thing. So hobbies. It's really important that if you type this in, that's exactly how you save that hobbies page. Now I'm on my job button. So I'm going to just call it job. Short and sweet is the best way to go. Now I'm on pets button, and I'm going to call it pets. So basically what we have done here is we have linked to phantom pages, pages that don't exist yet. So if you try to click on those links, it would tell you that there's an error because you haven't actually built them. But we did this step so that we wouldn't have to link every single button on every single page. Now, did you notice that little blue box that appeared around each button? That's a link indicator. And that's all good and fine when you're dealing with text. But it's not real pretty here. I mean, unless you happen to like it. I don't. So go after you've linked them all. And you should probably save real quick. So just straight up file save is good. Go back and click on your button. Go to where it says border and give it a 0 border. That will get rid of that little funky blue box. Sorry. I get click happy, just like you guys. Once you put a 0 border and the link is still in the right spot, take a look at it and then save it again. You want to save, not save as, but just save it. Alright, so now we can actually start working on the real stuff. I mean, not that this wasn't real, but this is a template. We're going to actually start working on our home page because our home page is going to be different than the others, so you don't want to have to erase and start all over. So on our home page, we're going to delete that. We're going to delete the word main picture, and we're actually going to insert the main picture. So we're going to go insert, image, just like you did with your banners and your buttons, and find that picture that's your main picture. In this case, it's Teeny's headshot. So alternate text, Teeny's picture. And there's a picture of my teeny weeny girl. It's a little big. It's a lot big. Maybe slightly too large for this. That's okay, because these little handlebars make it really easy to resize stuff. Just be careful when you're resizing that you don't like stretch it out and make it look weird. You want to keep the sizes as consistent as you can. That's about right. Now, did you notice that even though I made her picture smaller, this cell didn't get any smaller? That's because this cell in this table is center aligned. So what you want to do to change the way each cell is aligned, see, I did it just by me selecting it. I hovered my mouse over to the left side and clicked it, and that particular cell was highlighted. These buttons down here tell you how, indicate how you want things to be aligned. So I definitely want the stuff in this cell to stay in the center, and the vertical, which is the top and bottom, tells you how you want it to stay aligned. I like my stuff at the top. It makes my pages shorter because I know that one of the worst things you can do as a web designer is make your page so long that your viewers have to continuously scroll. That is horrible design. If your pages require your viewers to scroll to get to the good stuff, they're going to leave your site. So it's good to have it compact enough to see. Let's align all of our rows and columns right now, just so we don't have to go back and do it later. In fact, we probably should have done it to the template. We're not going to call this the template because this is now our index page. We know this because we already have a picture in it, but it'll just be a step that we'll get used to doing. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to tell it to align to the center, and I'm going to tell it to align to the top. And I'm going to click on this row, not the whole thing, just that row, and tell it to align to the center. See how the buttons moved over? And then I'm going to align them to the top. That's just so that everything is in the right place. Because if you didn't, there's a possibility that one could be down here, one could be up here, one could be to the left. It's not a good consistent look. And down here, this is where the body text would go. Now this could take a while. I'm going to refer to my storyboard so I can type all this stuff up. And after I type it, I can change the way it looks with bold, italics. You know, the heading 1s, heading 2. Remember we learned about this stuff? And then also insert some pictures. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to let you do this much. But before I go, I want for you to save this. File, save as, and instead of template, now you're going to call it index. The reason it's important to have a template in your folder is because when you get ready to build your next page, all you have to do is open your template and stick in the appropriate stuff because it's a blank template. Easy? Okay, you do it. Oh, one thing you should do before we come back, get all your text in there. Finish putting in your other pictures. You insert them the exact same way we've done everything else. Okay? Do that and then we'll come back.